Please click on Read More if you care to read along. Enjoy. Remember the moon landings? You know, the moon that you can see stars through? The moon that we can see daylight through? The moon that is supposed to be 250,000 miles away, yet somehow we can easily see details on it, instead of it looking like a street lamp from far away? The one that NASA brought back petrified wood from? The one that NASA lost all 80 years of footage of? The one that NASA lost all telemetry of? The one that NASA destroyed the technology of? The one that we don't know how to return to after half a century of progress, developments and advancements? The one that suddenly there's a deadly Van Allen belt in our way? The one that 24 astronauts got right the very first time and didn't even get a sunburn? The one that gave us the miracle of Apollo 13 when the American audience was turning into reruns of I Love Lucy because the fake moon landings were so boring? The one that NASA would not give a direct feed to the media? The moon that the taxpayers had to watch in fussy black and white on their colored TV while Nixon talked live to the moon on a mid-20th century rotary phone? The ones where rockets went into cartoon animations, courtesy of Walt Disney 4 minutes after blastoff because NASA doesn't know how to mount a camera or use a telescope? Aha, I'm sure we walked all over it. I'm surprised they didn't bring back some cheese. Instead we get rocks. Rocks that somehow according to NASA were stolen, contaminated and then recovered. Now isn't that convenient? If the Earth and Moon is really traveling 66,616 miles per hour through space, then as soon as the 25,000 miles per hour Saturn V rocket left Earth, it would have been left behind forever. Also, combustion and thrust are not possible in space. If you hit a wall with your fist, you'll get a response. Your fist is hurt and your wall is dented. If you hit thin air, you might feel a breeze, but if you hit nothing, there won't be a response. And expanding gases would have nothing to expand against. When this was brought to NASA attention 50 years after they were supposed to have gone to the moon 9 times, then suddenly they give us this crap. The moon is inside Earth's atmosphere, and now they tell us that they found pockets of gravity on the ISS right after one of the Astro actors was filmed falling on his ass in what was supposed to be zero gravity. NASA is Santa Claus for adults. There are people who think that we went to the moon, and then there are people who think it took a Nazi that Hitler could trust, SS officer Werner von Braun, whose signature sent tens of thousands of people to be worked to death to make the NASA's and Nazis' lies believable, while another 1,600 top Americanized Nazi scientist keeps the Fourth Reich alive and well. Those rockets travel in a parabolic arc out over and into the ocean once they're out of sight, and those shuttlecrafts were nothing more than outlandish airplanes. 4 minutes after blastoff of any rocket or shuttle that NASA launches, are switched to animation as if NASA can't put a camera on the telescope or position themselves in readiness. Their machinery never goes straight up, it rolls over on its belly and goes downrange, always over the ocean and out of sight. We see an actual launch and we see an actual landing or splashdowns, but everything in between is just TV imagery. It's been over 60 years and nobody is any the wiser. It took man 6,000 years to go from the wheel to the car, but it took less than a century to go from the car to the moon? That doesn't sound right. If they could remotely control the camera on the moon from Earth during the lunar ascent, then why didn't they continue to use the cameras after they left the moon? If NASA had control over this camera, then why didn't they scan the moon's surface or point it at Earth? They could accommodate cameras, $38 million dune buggies and golf clubs, but never a telescope? Do you trust science because it's given us world peace and wiped out hunger and disease? In 1962, 7 years before we got mooned by NASA, a team from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology succeeded in observing laser pulses reflected from the moon's surface using a laser with a millisecond pulse length. NASA never needed reflectors, and they are stealing someone else's achievements. Click on link below for confirmation. We come in peace for all mankind, but they planted a US flag instead.